Hello, my name is Alan. My pronouns are he, him, and today I am facilitating the first of an 8-session series of the playtest second edition draft of Uncharted Worlds. This is Sean Gomes' space opera PBTA game. He's working on the second edition and has published some of it, and so we're using some of it today. Everything to do with the characters broadly is in the playtest. Anything that revolves around the ships is down to me just filling in some gaps. So that's what we're playing. This game, like most of my games, has been organized as part of the Gauntlet RPG Community's monthly calendar. If you don't know about the Gauntlet, please search Gauntlet-RPG and come find out about us. We think it's a great place to come and play games. And if you want to try your foot in the water, so to speak, then we have a Gauntlet Community Open Gaming Weekend coming up on the 24th of March, but it's the weekend nearest the 24th of March, I think, which is just sign up and come and play with us. And, you know, come see what you make of it. And if you were to be pleased with it and wanted to support the Patreon, then that would be brilliant. But just come play. So, as I say, we're playing this space opera game. I've deliberately limited this to a 6-system cluster of stars, and each of the players has helped to shape one of those star systems as our kind of setting, and I filled in the gaps on some of the other ones. And the idea is to try and focus our play within this kind of limited setting, rather than disappearing across the galaxy. So we're not playing Traveller, just so you know. The tone, I think this is probably more 15 plus, 18 plus than full on adult, but you know, the players may go in directions that's not entirely cognizant with. I don't mind. In my mind's eye, I had something that was a cross between The Expanse and Firefly, I suppose, when I was thinking about this series. There will certainly be violence. There will certainly be danger. There will be risk to life and limb. So we'll be using some layered safety tools just to make sure that we're all here for the same game and we all, you know, have a good time. So we are playing with the Gauntlet Community Code of Conduct, which I sometimes summarize as play respectfully. And I've played with all these players before, so I know that won't be a problem. We are playing with lines and veils, and I would just point the players at the lines and veils tab. Do just have a look. I've made a start on some of that. I'm not sure if any of you have added any in there. A line is something that will not come up in the fiction. A veil is something that may come up, but we will draw a discrete veil across it, so we won't see it inverted commas on screen. And currently, I'll just check in. We've got lines on sexual assault and violence, homophobia, racism, sexism, misogyny, infection, plague is a major plot point, vampires, demons, and dark fae. That's there just because I've copied this across from somewhere else. Transphobia. Those are our current lines. If the players want to add any other lines, they're very welcome to. In terms of veils, we're playing with veils on harmed children, I can't say it. Peril to pregnant women and infants, consensual sex, domestic violence, torture by anyone, NPC or PC, suicide and self-harm. There's an ask first on betrayal between PCs and violent conflict between PCs. I'm not sure it's going to be that kind of game. I you know, again, prove me wrong, but that's not what I had in mind. And there is at least some interest in romance with PCs or with NPCs. What I'll do is I'm going to click ask first on that as well, just so that if that does come up, the players will check in with one another if they're happy for that to be involving them. And also interested in heists, space bars, and different planets. I can live with that. So as I say, you know, players, do add any more to that you're interested in. We will also be playing with the X card. The X card is there for all kinds of reasons. I've had the X card played when I've named an NPC after someone's brother-in-law, I think it was, and the NPC started to do bad things, and they said, I'm just a bit uncomfortable with my brother-in-law doing this. Could we just rename them? Fine. I've also had the X card played for, as a kind of preemptive. I think we're getting near to a line or a veil. Can I just, show the X card, check in? I just want to make sure where we're going with this, because it's getting a little bit towards that area of discomfort. Or because lines and veils aren't perfect and something may come up we haven't thought of, the X card is there to say, hang on a minute. And again, for the players, the best way to play the X card in my games is to show it to me, because I tend to be looking at your faces and I'll notice it there. If you're less comfortable with that, you want to type it in the chat. If I don't notice it and one of the other players does, please draw my attention to it. So the X card is there, just in case something comes up. I won't ask you why you've played the X card. I'm not interested. I may ask you how far exactly, if it's not obvious, how far back in the fiction you want to go, so I can then play forward and avoid whatever it was that was uncomfortable. And can I just reinforce the idea that if something comes up and you think, I'm fine with that, and then later on in the session or indeed the series, it comes up again, and you think, actually, I'm not all right with that. Just because you didn't play the X card the first time doesn't mean you can't play it later, okay? It's always available. The other thing we're playing with is the open door. The open door is there because the world goes on behind us as we look at these cameras. And if something comes up in the real world, please don't feel obliged to stay here. Go deal with it. We hope you'll come back. If you can give us some indicator in the chat of when you will be back, that's great. But we'll just play on, and fingers crossed you'll be able to get back to us. But the open door is actually there for another very important reason. And that is that if this turns out not to be the game you thought it was going to be, for goodness sake, don't feel obliged to waste 2 or 3 hours sitting through something you're not enjoying, right? If this is not the game for you, then please, the open door is there for you to just, no questions asked. It's not for you, fine. Increasingly, I think of an end of session debrief as a safety tool as well, I have to say. So we'll be using stars and wishes just at the end of the session, just to get an idea of what went well and whether there's anything that we can learn going forward in terms of what you wish would have been different or what you wish to see in future sessions. So that's the safety tools we're going to be using. So I think that's my spiel done. Let me come to the players. Let's go left to right. So Pavel, say hello, tell us about your pronouns, and just tell us anything you want to tell us about yourself.
Hello, I'm Pavel. I use he, him pronoun. I'll be playing Harper Sureshot Wilkerson, who comes from Advanced Planet, which is an R&D space station for various corporations. I think we will come to planet descriptions later. So yeah. I will not go into the details. Harper was born into this awesome place. He definitely enjoys being the advance and doesn't spend a moment without reminding someone that he's simply superior to everyone else around, just because he is from the future and he has the cool space gadgets.
So yeah, can I just use that as an opportunity just to point people down at row 33, because I will at some point be coming around to you and asking you about your burden. But that will do me for now. That will do me for now. I'll come back with some questions in a bit, I think. So let's move along. Gray, say hello, tell us about your pronouns, and introduce us to Riley Perihelion.
All right. Hi, my name is Gray. I use they, them pronouns, and I will be playing Riley Perihelion. I have the Galactic origin. The system I came from doesn't currently have any habitable worlds. Most people live in space habitats in, sorry, there's TKO here. So most of the people in my system live in a ring of space habitats orbiting the planet Memory, which this ring of space habitats is referred to as the wheel. And so Riley specifically, in their past, was a sort of celebrity science person with their own space TV shows, podcasts, etc., who would go to exotic locales, do science.
And I shall be asking you shortly, what went wrong? And just to our millions of viewers, the idea of Uncharted Worlds is that everyone has an origin. So we have the galactic origin, and then everyone chooses 2 careers, which generates some starting skills. And that's academic and personality. Thank you, Greg. Moving along, Joe, say hello, tell us about your pronouns, and introduce us briefly to Gema. Is it Gema or Gema?
I'm going with Gema. So that is completely arbitrary, however. So hi, I'm Joe. He, him, they, them, either one, fine by me. Fun fact, Alan played in Alan and I met Alan playing in the very first Gauntlet game that I'd ever played in, which wasn't so long ago. And now I have somehow managed to, this is my 3rd game this week. So I have, and actually I bailed out of one that I was supposed to play Friday night because I overdid it a little bit. So so I open doored on that one because I'm like, it's too much. So I'm playing Gema. So Gema is conceptually, if anyone's familiar with, so I started with the idea of the Envoy from the Altered Carbon series, or the books, if you've ever read those, as well as, I think I'm probably the only one that's read them, but C.J. Cherry's Fated Sun trilogy. There is a race of warrior type mercenaries, and so she comes from this sort of order of mercenary warriors. They live in an isolated, very harsh world. Part of that is to hone them to the what they need to be honed to. And she has abandoned. So my burden I chose was abandoned, betrayed the cause, but I'm going to lean into the abandoned side versus the betrayed. But I haven't fully fleshed out the other stuff. So she's kind of a harsh, and I ran across that picture. I hadn't intended it, and I ran across searching for images, and I fell in love with sort of the haunted, worn out vibe I got from that. And so that's where I'm going to lean into. So
that's great. Thank you. And finally, Jolene, say hello, tell us about your pronouns, and introduce us to Sara Carpenter.
Hi, I'm Jolene, she, her pronouns. I'm playing Sara Carpenter of the Zandoran Carpenters. Yeah, she has that prosperous background, and her careers were advocate and commercial. What are questions beyond that? Like,
no, I mean, that's fine. I mean,
okay.
No, that's fine, because advocate is the kind of the talker.
Yeah, like, you know, with Fireflies and inspiration, I went like, all right, companion, I can gel with that.
And commercial just
Therapist,
means
talk,
you're,
yeah.
you know,
I mean, she gets paid to do what she does.
Exactly. So that's our initial pen picture. Now I do want to just dig into your burdens. Actually, so let me come back round to Pavel and tell me about Harper Sureshot Wilkerson. Keenly aware of his own superiority. What does he think he's really good at?
He thinks he's really good at stealing. I mean, it's called acquisition and trade, also called redistribution of wealth and technology. And he thinks himself like a space cowboy. So he would love to have, no, it's not very good, but he would love to have like a bounty on his head, so that then he can like fend off the bounty hunters who come after him, and he can show them that he is the good, that he's the best gunslinger around. Yeah, and besides, he's from the future. We made the technology that you use. So if you're using the old ZeniMax security console, I can like hack it. Like, come on, like who uses this like 10 old year piece of shit?
I think we get a flavor of just how broadly he thinks his superiority runs. I get that. And let's move on to Riley Perihelion. Riley, tell me about your burden.
All right, so I've chosen the burden following the signs of some legend or myth. So sort of my thought here was that, I was this big celebrity exploring all kinds of things, but then I got really obsessed with this one sort of fringe theory and started digging into that and following that and neglecting all the other stuff I was supposed to do. And that sort of led to my celebrity coming crashing down.
I'm curious. We've got a couple of places in the culture that we've got something in one planet, around one of the planets, one of the systems. This man-made space anomaly, which is, if I've got this right, being kind of guarded by this group called Future, and we've got another one. We've got Gema's system, Narsus Prime. In that system somewhere, there's Exogen Corp Advanced Research Facility. So I'm curious, are any of those related to this myth or legend that you're following?
That's a good question. I
don't feel obliged to answer. I'm just dropping those pebbles in the pond at this point.
Cool.
In my conception of this, the kind of gates that are used to travel between systems are not built by you. They predate the settlement by humans of this cluster. So that again might provide you with something to investigate. I
Cool.
think that's great at this point. That gives me a flavor for Riley. Let's go to Gema. We got this sense of this, abandoned, lost, or abandoned. Is she abandoned? Are they abandoned and lost from something, or are they abandoned and now looking forward?
I think abandoned looking forward was my thought process, that she left because I believe that it's a very regimented, they're essentially programmed from birth to be, genetically and everything, these warriors, and again, maybe we can flesh out later, but something kind of snapped and she couldn't do it anymore. And so she left.
And this is the Order of the Obsidian Angel we're talking about in terms of this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Again, I'm curious. So does the Order provide mercenaries or soldiers anywhere in the cluster? So are we likely to encounter, I don't know, groups of them elsewhere?
I think yes. Yeah. So they're kind of, I viewed them as sort of like very famed, sort of like if you were to run into them, you would be like, oh shit, type because they are literally bred for war, right?
Fine. Yeah,
you might find them as bodyguards of very important, individuals, as bodyguards of very important people as well, that kind of thing. So
yeah, it sounds more like encountering them in individually or in very small groups rather than kind of battle groups.
Yes. Yep.
Too select for that. Okay, that's great. Then let's come to Sarah. Have you given any thought to your burden? Yeah, there's one in there, but I don't know if that's the default selection.
Yeah, no, I went with dedicated patron of the arts.
And is this related? Because I am curious. I'm gonna start talking about some of the questions about your backgrounds now. Is this related in any way to the source of your family or clan or even planet?
I don't think so. Like one, it's what is it? Like a sign of like influence, basically. But also like, like she's like, oh no, I love this. Maybe she spends too much on the arts.
Okay. So where does the money come from then? Where does or the money that you still, I think the family's going to ask why you're not at home, but we'll come to that in a bit. So where's their money come from? How come your planet, your system is so prosperous?
I think like, when I think about it, I think it's like one of like their family is one of the biggest names in trade. Like, I don't know, like because I've got the Firefly stuff in my mind. I'm like, maybe like they own like the largest mining company on their planet, which has like, you know, like, no, this resource is like highly sought after, and we've got the claim to like the best mine. So
I go with
as
that.
well as like other ranch related stuff, but like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
their main export.
So I'm imagining, you know, those kind of 19th, early 20th century American millionaires who started making money in natural resources, and then it just money makes money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can expand to this, I can expand to that now. But like this is like what they're known for.
Okay. I am curious why you're not at home then, because it
I
sounds like a
mean-
very comfortable life.
Oh yeah, totally. But like my mother said, "Oh, you have to make something of it." I'm like, you know, like you have to make something of yourself. So I'm like, all right, well, you know, okay.
And so are you traveling with this crew just for happenstance?
I think so. Like it's like, oh, they have an opening on their ship. I've got very good skills at like, and I'm very good at like, you know, finding people and like plus like hopeful name recognition. Like, all right, you know, you need to travel. We have a ship. And like you said, I have the +2 to put, and I put it in the bunks. So
Right, I'll have to. So you've put it into crew habitat. Oh wow, that's tremendous. So prior to this, it was I think 12 bunk beds in cramped spaces. Now I'll be able to upgrade your living module to be much more comfortable, and that will pay off if you end up carrying passengers. I love it.
I do have a question for everyone. Is it okay if I try and do a bad Southern accent at times? If not, no problem.
I'm not going to be offended.
Okay.
Please do.
Okay.
You know, whatever works for you. You know, if it gets too much, I'm sure one of us will say something, but I think it's just a lovely, you know, you have painted a picture. Oh, yes, you have painted a picture. Okay, let's go back then and talk a little bit more about exactly what happened then, Gema. Abandoned, thrown out, failed in a mission. What are you thinking at the minute? Because, you know, what bound your people together and why did they distrust outsiders? Well, I think that's something about your warrior code maybe, but I do want to explore, are they looking for you?
That would certainly introduce a twist, wouldn't it? Yes. Let's say yes. I go with that.
Whether I'm happy for Gema to think they are, even if they're not. So don't feel bound to that at this point. But I just want to get some feel for what's driving these stories. Sara Carpenter is just slumming it for a little while in her year out. You know, traveling. Her gap year, exactly. Whereas Gema may be worrying that someone's going to come and take her home. I don't know.
I think she probably is. I think it's not usual to leave. So unless you die, so that's how you leave. So
yeah, it is the way. And so just so I can check in on Riley, just remind me why everyone's. I think you touched on this, but I'm not sure I got all of it. Exactly why does everyone have to leave the planet and live in this wheel of
Right.
habitats?
So several generations back, there was a sort of sudden either natural disaster or something that led to sort of a rapid cascading failure of terraforming on the planet. And so, you know, sort of overnight, it went from somewhere that people were like growing orchards and it was beautiful to like, you know, within months, this planet will not be survivable. And so there was like big push to get everyone up into space. It worked. but now everyone lives on the wheel. And this is definitely looms large in the collective imagination of.
And I guess I'm curious whether the technology that failed or went rampantly off schedule in any way could be tied back to Harper's planet and people. I just put that on the table. And then, yeah, now, so just so I'm clear again, let's go to Harper. Does everyone on Iota B7, sorry, have access to the same level of technology? Or is it just some of you?
It's very hard to answer for this question for me, because I envision this as a place of R&D. So there are like many people over there. I do think Harper comes from a family that is at least at manager's level. So I think that most of the people who are like core part of the future have access to some high tech, and it's not unseen to have like researchers with this like translator bots or like bots that are robots that take notes, that take samples. But yeah, for example, like we do still need janitors and other people and the crew for the spaceport. So they do not have so readily access to the high technology like themselves. But if they can buy it, there's like a huge market for it. So,
and it's probably cheaper there than in many other parts of the cluster. Yeah, I get that. Okay, so let's just go to the cluster then. Let's just check in. Is there anything else we need to know about these planets? I see. Yeah, so Gema, several hostile and potentially lethal worlds. Is the Legion? Is the Order located on one of those worlds?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And you've described the Order of the Obsidian Angel as an austere mercenary legion. Spot on. I like that. And tell me about the aspects, hooks, locations. You know, what have you got in mind for those? Because you've written some down. I just want to give everyone a chance to hear them.
Yeah. Well, for one thing, I thought it'd be kind of interesting that there was these giant crystalline shards that were already on the planet, right? And there's some ancient, like old ruiny things around them, and the Order's not so interested in that stuff, right? That's not their shtick, but there's something there that was from before, and so just I like that idea of maybe artifacts, and I kind of thought of that too, because with Gray's science guy thing, that might be there might be something there, maybe not, it doesn't matter either way. And then I thought that there was some research facility on the planet that the Order possibly gave them the rights to have a facility somewhere on the planet, and it's part of where they gain some of their Exogen pays them to have this facility there, and again another dark research facility that who knows what kind of dark research they're doing inside that facility. So
yeah, I'm wondering what happens to members of your people who don't quite pass the early tests. And then we've got memory is part of the Deo Thesmophoros. I'm going to struggle with that as a system name, so I'm going to start calling it memory. Several hostile and potentially lethal worlds, and numerous trade dependencies. Is that because despite several generations having passed, the society is still adapting to their new circumstance?
And like with no access to a livable planet, there's a lot of strain around access to basics like water, and we grow a lot of our food hydroponically, but I think there's still a lot of stuff that we end up having to import from out of system.
Yeah, I can imagine that. And your technology is above cluster norms because I guess you need that to be able to keep these habitats livable. I'll come back to you for a faction. I'm not going to push you on that. I'm going to skip Sarah simply because, Jolene, you've come to this later than everybody else. So I'll just give you don't feel obliged to have something to say now. There's no pressure on. Let me go to Harper then. So Iota B7 is the system. Quantum Prime is your homeworld, main world. But again, this base is research and development of future. New tech is made and used here. I just need to be clear: is the base on the planet, or is it orbiting the planet?
So there's like one garden world and several hostile but inhospitable. I think this system was once home to few garden worlds. However, the other somehow failed scientific experiments. Bioweapons failed other projects. So there's like one surviving garden planet, and the base is on the planet. And one of the cool things is this like gigantic space elevator that you see over here. You can go down to the planet. At the end of it is like a giant spaceport. And then there's like a capacity for even like a few trains at once, like ascend and descend this space elevator. So this is like a huge part. So yeah, they're like based on the planet. This is just like a spaceport.
Fine. And of course, your technology is well above cluster norms, no surprise in that. And presumably, those numerous surpluses for trade are mostly technological.
Yeah, the things that exit the prototype state and start to be manufactured, it's like readily available for sale.
And just given the way that you've been describing, we lost a garden world, come, they go. It sounds like as a culture, you have a pretty significant sense of your superiority. It's not just an individual trait.
This somehow ties into the faction descriptor is terrifying. So I'm leaving this failed terraforming to Riley to define, but the problem with mad scientists is that you never know what they are gonna do to you. Others will just like begin like planetary invasion, and these guys will just like begin dropping like a bioweapons on you. Or if you meet there are rumors that if you meet a future ship in a space and you're alone, that they will begin testing on you their microwave weapons or like photon torpedoes. And this is just, this is a faction of mad scientists, and a mad scientist pushed to the limit because their finances are going out and they need to like prove the viability of the project. Yeah, the other 4 planets didn't survive this kind of.
So just so I'm clear then, Future is this terrifying scientific consortium. Are they the government of the system, or are they an organization in the system? What's your thinking?
I think due to Galactic laws, they needed to like form a consortium. So there are probably like a couple companies that came together and said, okay, let's form this consortium because we need to because we need to be like a Galactic registered unit in this like space galactic government, and then we can like purchase the system, and then we can have our R&D there. So there's like a lot of companies that probably a possibility for a lot of infighting, various laboratories thinking about similar technology or different one, a possibility to steal something from these guys to give it to these guys. So a few companies creating the consortium under one name, full of mad scientists.
I'm now looking at Future with a series of full stops in it as 6 companies endlessly competing with one another under this umbrella. And in terms of what you've added as aspects and hooks, tell me about those. We talked about the space elevator, but I'm interested in the window.
Yeah, so I looked for some cool images, and I found something like this.
Ooh, went the crowd.
Or I found something like this, but I think I like this one, like a space anomaly better. So I think somewhere in the system is like this kind of thing, which looks beautiful. Very few people know that this is actually like maybe like a try, an attempt to create like a new drive. So these gates that you show, they probably like know how they work, but you have to go like system to system to system. And this space anomaly, maybe you can like travel from system J to system B or even out of system, but this is like still in the beta prototypes or even earlier. But it looks cool to everyone who is on the space station to look at it. So
yeah, people, just tourists are coming just to look at it. I like that. Okay. Let me, I do want to just pick up something about, to go back to Riley about memory, the dust-covered, corroded ruins of the old towns of memory. So I mean, was this collapse very quick, or was this so it was kind of get off the planet now if you can?
Yeah.
So the Marie Celeste is down there kind of rusting and corroding away.
Yeah, just like every structure and everything was left behind. And
okay. I'll come back to you and Sarah about details of hooks and factions. I'm not worried about those right now. There are 3 other systems. There's Helicon, where the main world is Hub. That's the center of the Hub Slipstream Authority. They are the closest there is to a cluster-wide government. They control the gates, if you will, the slip knots, and so that's where they get their power from. They are a wealthy trade regime. The other 2 ones, there's 2 planets, Oasis, and 1 not a planet, the Belt. Archivin holds the Oasis satirical description for Archivin 3 because it's a desert planet. And it is the home of the Sutler Correctional Prison Facility. The Sutler Corporation have the HSA franchise for policing and correctional activity across the cluster. But some people get out of the convict camps, they get out of the prison, and there is a place called Freetown, a freewheeling frontier town, embracing the frontier life of freelance sand sifters. I've not filled that in. It just struck me as an interesting phrase to throw at you. And then the Belt. This is the Ferran 50 system. It has no planets, just asteroids and rocks. Technology is below cluster norms, and it just about balances surpluses with dependencies, but that's because it's largely a black hole. It's empty. It's an expanse of rubble for miners. There is Irving Industrial have an outpost there, a mining outpost, and the word is that there are hidden criminal havens that the authority never quite manages to eliminate. And so I've added there a rapacious criminal network, the Syndicate, with tentacles stretching across the cluster. And just to throw it in there, there appears to be a faction of people in Freetown on Oasis called the Free People, a defiant anarchist cult almost. So I'm not quite sure where we'll go with that one. So that's our setup then, folks. I am struck by the fact that we are about 12 minutes from our first hour. Time flies. I'm going to suggest we take a 10-minute break now, and then come back and begin play with you arriving through one of these gates somewhere. Okay? Fine. I'll see you in 10. Okay, so we've had our break, and we now have an honourable diplomatic society in Sara Carpenter's Zandora. I was just saying that it's nice that not all of these places are biologically destroyed hellholes, or the people that made them that way. So it's quite nice that there is at least some portion of civilization, and that may be where that's why Sarah has some sense of a patron of the arts, because my God, does this cluster need something else?
You can tell it's fiction because the rich people are good.
Yes, a strange inversion. Yeah. Yes, you are the billionaires who are making everything fine. So let us begin then with you aboard. We haven't named the ship because that will take us another 90 minutes. I'm just going to say you're on board the ship. You can argue the toss about that offline. And this is cramped quarters in the sense of, it's more like being aboard a submarine than the Starship Enterprise. The fact that Sarah is invested when she joined the crew in beefing up your kind of habitat, your sleeping quarters, your living quarters, means it's a lot more comfortable than it was going to be. But it's still a pretty pokey, narrow corridored stack of decks, because we don't have anti-gravity. You rely on thrust. That's where I'm linking to the Expanse, really. We're down to magnetic boots and thrust, keeping you pinned to the right wall or ceiling. So where do you normally spend time aboard the ship? Let's go left to right again. Let's start with Harper Wilkerson, or does he prefer Sureshot?
I think Sureshot, if you want to more appeal to his cowboy aspect, and just Harper if you want to appeal more to his being human aspect. So feel free.
Okay, well, I'm going to call him Harper. I'll leave it to the crew to decide how they address him. So Harper, where do you spend time on the ship? Do you just stay in your bunk in your living quarters, or do you have a duty station?
Since Harper is really bad with the ships and he's used to other people flying and doing stuff on the ship, he probably spends most of his time in his bunk, which thanks to Sarah's like really luxurious small quarter with at least comfy bed, not lying on the floor. So probably there. But other than that, he also sometimes goes and he's in charge of maintaining the ship security and his own made bolt holes. So we sometimes see him going and like testing whether the doors, so that we can so the doors to prevent intruders work, or and also in case of sudden loss of air pressure or the void, so we can secure ourselves, and also trying to find more empty spaces he can convert into more bolt holes, so that we can smuggle more stuff. So he's like unscrewing stuff, checking under the panels if there is enough space to put like a large suitcase here or not. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, clearance on the deck is about 2 meters, 2 and a bit meters. There's cabling and crawl spaces under the floor and over the ceiling, and of course when you're slowing down, it's the other way around. So there's plenty of places to crawl about in here if Harper needs to hide something. What about Riley? Where does Riley spend time on board ship?
I think Riley spends a lot of time working the scanners, sort of messing around and seeing if there's anything interesting to be seen. They have a bad habit of constantly narrating what they're doing into their camera drone.
Just in case this is the moment when that discovery happens.
Exactly.
I love it. Because you've got a workshop and a med bay stroke science station to do all that kind of stuff in. What about Gema? Where does our Isolated spend time?
So yeah, I think she spends a lot of time like staying fit, right? Like she probably has routines, to keep herself honed and stuff. And I think she also she does like to be alone because with her own thoughts. And I think she hides out in the breaching pod. That's her place where she goes just to be away from everybody else and things. So.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, this cramped you know, about the size of 3 or 4 coffins, really, with a rocket booster behind
Right.
it. So yeah, that must make her feel really comfortable.
And actually, I think it does, right? Like, I
Yeah.
think she's used to spending a lot of time waiting around. You know, you think the soldiers kind of life like that. And so, yeah, it makes her, I think it does make her strangely, even though she left all of that, it does make her comfortable.
And finally, Sarah, what about you? Because so far they sound like a not very sociable group. So I'm curious how Sarah mixes into this found family.
I think like a lot of the times, I mean, she forces interactions on them a lot of the times. Like, no. Do we like? Are we the only main crew?
Oh,
The
you
four of
are the
us?
entire crew.
Okay.
Yeah, you are it.
So like, do we have a pilot?
Well, everyone can part because most of this is based on what the ship can do for you. So you don't need necessarily to have piloting skill to run this ship. You do to run the shuttle, which is what you use to
Okay.
get down to planetary surfaces. So the ship kind of runs itself. You point it,
Okay,
and
it's
it
like
will
an
go there.
autopilot type thing that we just
Yeah.
like. right.
And it must be said it's not a very good one.
Alright.
Is the truth.
But yeah, like then Sarah's like roaming around every now and then, like especially if they're always like off away from the bridge. I'm like, all right, well, someone's got to check in to make sure. Oh, we're being whatever, like the radar or whatever.
Yeah, I heard
yeah,
this
like,
ping. Does
Most
that
often,
ping mean
like
anything?
most often, probably like in the mess, because that's like probably like I don't know what the layout of this ship is, but like that's probably like the main gathering area.
Yeah, I mean, I will update this because you get some hospitality, which means that you do have a mess now.
Yeah.
So you know, it's luxurious compared to what it was before you joined the crew.
Yeah, like I mean,
Sarah.
you keep saying submarines, and I'm like, what? I know Expanse ship layout, and I know Firefly ship layout, so I'm like, oh.
Yeah, no, it's worse than that. It's cramped. It's like those really shitty belter ships in the Expanse. If you know, it's those tight quarters. So that's what you spend your time doing. I get a feel for that. But where are you for those important points? I guess, Harper, the points at which you go through a gate and the points when you come out through a gate. What's your duty station? Are you on the bridge? Are you down in weapons control? I'm guessing Gema goes to weapons control.
You mean you mean the time we are in the gate space or the time we are in the real space?
Transition points. You know, those important points where stuff can go wrong.
I think Harper likes sitting on the bridge because he was like planet born. He spent a lot of the time on this like space docking station, but he didn't spend a lot of that time actually flying. So I think the gate travel and in general, he still like enjoy just looking out into the space and just saying, it doesn't even compare to the anomaly, and you know.
And presumably he thinks that in the absence of a specialist pilot, he is the best one.
Of course.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Of course.
So I'm guessing Gema is down in weapons control just in case. I'm going to assume that Harper is on the bridge. What about Riley? Where's Riley's duty station at these transition points where stuff can happen?
That's a good question. So like one possibility is that they're, on the bridge where they can see if anything happens. The other possibility, like if someone might need to suddenly like tinker with something about the ship, like I'm kind of handy with hardware. It's sort of what I'm most comfortable working on. So if there's
engineering.
Sure.
And finally, Sarah, as not entirely supernumerary, but the person who's here as a kind of continuous, it's like you've hired a suite in a hotel. You are living in the crew. Where at these important points do you feel safest or most comfortable?
Probably the bridge. Like even like with the wealth of her family, she's got like shuttle training and whatnot. Like, so I'm like, all right,
Yeah, I mean,
like
just to
she's pretty
stress,
like she's very much like Riley in that she's like good in a lot of places, but like, like when we used to work, I had to be trained how to work iron ore machinery and stuff. So
love it, love it. Fine. So you pop out through the gate, and at each of these gates, there's a slip station. The slip station is maintained by the authority, and the slip station is there to activate the gate to let ships in and out of it. And I'm imagining it's a kind of dumbbell spinning to maintain some gravity. It's also a fuel depot, because most people will need to refuel if they're going to go straight back through the gate or move to the next gate. And I think probably it is Harper I'm going to go to and ask Harper, what do you do when you see a flashing red light on the pilot's panel of a wide spectrum broadcast coming from the slip station?
Wide spectrum broadcast, is it like they're hailing us, or is it just some automated communication?
It's not that they're hailing you. It's as though they are just broadcasting to anyone who will listen.
Okay, just put it on the main display.
So you and Sarah see it pop up on the bridge's display, and it's footage from a camera showing these slip stations are not sophisticated. They are glorified gas stations. Okay, and for all the world, it looks like this gas station is being held up. There's a group of people, you're getting a view from the security camera in the corner of what looks to be, they're the same everywhere. It's the kind of convenience store. Most of these things have a hotel of sorts, motel. They have a convenience store, and they have somewhere to buy more fuel. And for all the world, it looks like somebody's holding up the convenience store. What's your reaction, Sarah, when you see this?
I mean, she's one of surprise, but I don't know how this probably isn't that uncommon.
They're stuck out here. They're miles from any major planet, usually, these gates. So it is in the back of Beyond. Do you let anybody else know?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna notify the ship, the crew.
What's Gema's reaction to this when Sarah pipes through this picture to the screen down in weapons control?
Y'all, we got an issue going on.
Is this really our fight? What do we care?
It is, in as much as you will have to dock here to fuel.
Ugh. Yeah,
plus,
I think she's kind of exasperated a little bit, like,
Plus, we help out, we build up our reputation, we get more jobs.
You really wanna work for the authority?
We're not working. We're not working for anyone. I mean, I guess if they pay us, sure. There's nobody else here is the problem, and we do need to get fueled.
Okay, so
let me go to Riley first. Riley, when this comes through on the ship systems to you, what's Riley's reaction?
Huh. You don't see that every day.
And what does Riley want to do? Because I think we're getting a view is emerging, but I'm curious what Riley's contribution to this conversation is.
Well, guess we got to stop here. What do you think, Sureshot? Can we take him?
Sure we can. I mean, it's so poor quality in industrial camera. It's hard to say how many of them are there, but yeah, let's hail them and let's ask what's the situation on the bridge. Is there that station has some kind of like a bridge or something?
Well, it's got a convenience store. Normally, these things have a convenience store, a motel, and a fuel dispenser.
Okay. Okay.
This is not, you know, Starbase 9.
Okay.
No, far from it.
I mean, if they're robbing the place, we can join them and get the free fuel at least. So, you know,
That's
savings.
no.
I don't think that's really the reputation we were aiming for here.
I mean, it will be on them if we just refuel for free.
Harper, we're gonna have to have a talk later. Because anyone dies and you've joined in, you're an accessory to murder?
First officers don't have talks with the captain. Captain have to talk with the first officer. That's how it works.
I'm sorry, do you think you're the captain?
Hello, like, of course.
Pilot seat, he points.
Then I'll sit captain seat.
Well, someone down there in that station has sent us this admittedly low quality video.
We're getting a distress call.
Riley,
Not help us get robbed call.
Riley, I'm curious, is there anything you want to do in terms of I've given you what you see. Is there anything you want to do to improve perhaps your understanding of what's going on?
Can we run some kind of a scan to understand like what we're up against? Like, you know, is there, say, a giant weaponized ship sitting here at the station?
I think that you could certainly use the scanners to learn something about the situation. So
all right, that's what I want to do.
So you'll find that the scanner move is on the ship sheet. You'll find that the dice room is on the lines and veils sheet.
All right.
I've put some dice up there because I've found that sometimes they just appear all over the shop.
So about the die room, do you want us to like select the die and reroll them instead of rolling new die? Like, how do you want us to use it?
I mean, I prefer not to have an endlessly arriving set of dice, so I'd like to use the ones that are there, if that's okay.
All right, and so I'm rolling 2 dice, and then I add 1,
and you're adding scanners, yeah,
which is +1. All right,
there you go. Can't go wrong, surely. Almost. So on 7+, you find what you were looking for. Now, the question you asked me was some kind of, you know, what else is there here? There are 2 other ships docked at the slip station. One of them looks like a kind of distance freighter. So it's probably carrying just, you know, a huge string of cargo pods. And the other one looks like an in-system transport ship. It looks like it's just come here from one of the planets or rocks locally. And I should have said, shouldn't I, that you're in Archivin. This is Archivin system. The one where there's a correctional institution. But on a 7+, you find what you're looking for and choose an obstacle that stands in your way. So which of those bullet points do you think is the problem for you? A harmful, unpleasant location, a questionable, unsavory act, an interposing guardian or defense, your burden or someone else's.
I guess there's the possibility that one of the ships could be from Gemma's homeworld.
Oh, right. Yeah, let's say that is true. Let's say that freighter is registered in Narsus. Yeah, that's an interposing potential guardian or defense. Yeah. On 7th line, the GM also chooses one from the list or increases the severity. I think I'm going to add a questionable unsavory act. The cashier in the convenience store just got shot. Okay. What are you going to do? Riley, what's your advice to the crew based on what you've discovered?
So we could go in and try to help them, but we're going to have to be careful. I think they've got more firepower than we thought.
Does Gema know that that ship is of her from the order at this point?
Okay, let's engage with a basic move rather than a ship move, because this is about what you might know. Seek an opportunity when you analyze and decipher. Roll plus mind. What do you know about this ship or this kind of ship?
Okay, that's me or Riley.
That's you. Sorry, that's Gema.
Okie doke. So refresh me, Alan. I just click on 2 of these dice.
And then you'll see that once you click on them, that little purple. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So I'm rolling plus mind, right?
Yeah. Don't know what that is.
Let me think. I don't think it's much for me. Thinking is not. I'm straight up 0. So
You're not trained to think.
11.
11. So seek an opportunity. When you analyze and decipher on a 10 plus, you find what you were looking for and an obstacle that stands in the way. What do you want to know about this freighter?
I want to know if anybody who has any, I'm open to, as I'm thinking about this, if there's something that pops into someone else's head, let me know. But I'm thinking, I want to know if there would be any of the soldier, because there would be other people, like, just, not everyone in her order is a soldier, right? I want to know if it would be the type of ship that has other soldiers like her.
Okay, I think what I can tell you is that those cargo pods are, at least some of them, are the kind of pods that are used to transport your warrior caste, if you will, unconscious, to save on life support. It's a cheap way to move them about. It's dangerous, but it's cheap. And if you lose a few on the way, you lose a few on the way. So at least some of those pods contain sleeping members of your order. It is unlikely that the pilot is as well trained as you are. Good enough?
Yeah, and I would share that with, but I think Gema is nervous about this, right? She doesn't really, she would not want to interact and she doesn't want to reveal herself to them. So she's nervous about this right now.
So Sarah, does your inclination is just to get in there and help, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Harper, are you going to stand in the way of that?
No, if the crew wants to dock, let's dock.
Okay. So cut to you making your way down the mating tube between the station and the ship. And basically what you've got is, as I say, this spinning habitat to maintain some gravity in it. And it is typical of its type. There is grubby beige plastic panels on the walls. The lighting is dim rather than bright. It's cheaper to keep it that way. And the first kind of off the docking hub, the first point is motel reception. How do I see you? I'm gonna put Sureshot at the sharp end of this, or Gema. I don't know. Gema, do you want to be at the sharp end of this, or do you let Sureshot slip ahead? I'm just conscious of your maybe reticence.
I think normally she would be the tip of the spear, but I think if Harper, since he does tend to know best, at least he thinks he does, if he decides to try to barge in there, she's not going to stop him because of this particular situation.
Okay, Sureshot, you're on point. How do we see you moving through these corridors towards motel reception?
He's moving like a true cowboy. There's probably like no need for the thing that the cowboys had on their heels for the horses, but probably there's like sound emitting from this from his shoes that as if he was the cowboy walking, and yeah, he just like walks in the middle of the corridor going straight because you said that the problem was in the convenience store.
Exactly.
So he goes toward the convenience store, like walking in the middle of the
Okay, I just wanted to
of the tunnel.
It doesn't sound like he's engaging his infiltrate move then. So he loudly walks into reception. It's deserted. There doesn't seem to be any effort at security here, so I'm assuming the other three of you just follow on behind. Or does anybody want to stay on the ship?
I will follow, but I think she has like a hooded thing up over her because she's trying to not reveal what she is. So yeah.
Okay. I will rely on you to tell me when you engage one of your playbook moves, one of those career skills. Okay. So Sarah and Riley following on. As I say, reception is deserted, it appears, when you stride into it, Harper. Do you just breeze through reception, head for convenience store? I think that's what I heard.
I think I do take a look if there is a dead body behind the counter or
no,
some
there is
shots on the counter or something.
There is a receptionist cowering out of sight behind the counter. Don't shoot me! Don't shoot me! Don't shoot me! I just see the shot.
Yeah, no worries. We are not with them. We are a different crew. We are here to save the situation. Can you tell us like how many of them arrived?
A handful, I think. I think at this point I want Harper, because you're still on point, unless anybody else is. Let me ask first, Sarah, what are you doing?
Sarah's gonna like go to the cowering woman to try to like help comfort her and find her someplace safer to hide. Like, look, calm down. We're here to help.
I'm quite keen to engage with one of your specialist moves here.
Yeah. Reprogram behavior.
It's get them to feel the way you want them to feel.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
You know, playtest, interested in feedback on wording and formation of moves. So it sounds like you're trying to kind of just calm them down, make them feel calm and safe. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's have you engage with a move then. So that's roll plus mind.
All right. 9.
9 on 7 to 9. Choose the pain of the new truth as 10 plus. So, so the new truth is she does feel calmer, right? She does feel safer now that you're there. You have succeeded.
Okay.
I'm not sure how I like the way that's
terrifying wording.
It is. It is. Which of those bullet points is the consequence of the 7 to 9?
I develop a connection.
Do you want to? Yeah.
I mean, like, look, I want her confidence to last a bit longer than fleeting. So
absolutely. She hangs on to you. Oh, thank God you're here. Oh, thank God somebody's come. Thank you so much.
No problem, man. No problem, miss. Just keep your head low. I'm gonna lead you back to around the corridor, back to maybe you can hide out in our ship.
Okay. And she will follow you wherever you go. Riley, what is Riley doing at this point?
So I think I'm gonna try and use my camera drone to like scout up ahead, like send the drone, like look on my data pad and see what it sees.
Okay. I think that's probably seeking an opportunity. Observe discreetly.
Sounds good. So it looks like I need to roll plus precision.
Exactly so.
All right. My precision is 0. All right, so that's a 7.
Okay, so follow me through this to make sure I get this right. On 10 plus, you find what you were looking for, so I will tell you what you see in a moment, and an obstacle stands in the way. You pick one, I pick another one. Okay.
Oh, sorry, I think I got a 7.
Yeah, no, so, so hang on. How does this work? On 7 to 9, find what you seek as 10 plus. So 10 plus applies, but I choose one from the list. That is peculiarly phrased, I think. But so on a 10 plus, you are going to find, I'll give you the lie of the land, and you are going to discover an obstacle, and then I will add an obstacle as well.
Got it.
Yeah, so what do you want to be in the way?
A harmful, unpleasant location. There's something like dangerous that we're going to need to cross through to get there.
Okay, that's when somebody comes out of the toilet with a pistol in their hands. There's a toilet halfway down this corridor on the way to the convenience store, and they come out of that. And I will. I'm curious about your burden. What is your burden? It is. No, I don't think I imply, because if you decide to invoke your burden as part of any of this, there's an experience point flag you'll hit, just by the by. I don't think I can reasonably throw that at you. I'm going to just add another hoodlum coming out of the toilet. So you've put one in, I put a second one in. They step out into the corridor and they look up towards reception where you've made no effort to hide yourself. Sureshot, what do you do?
Yeah, I suppose a very cowboy-like Sureshot faces the guy. He like moves his cloak so that his cryo pistol is right there in the holster.
Great, he shoots you. He doesn't wait for any of that. He just shoots you. So let's have you face adversity when you use might or violence. Or are you gonna try and duck and run? He doesn't know that you are superior at this point. Otherwise, he would clearly have just watched you do that thing. Because you are going to face adversity unless you've got a move that does it better.
I really don't. I'm not the fighter.
Now he tells us. So let's have you then. Are you going to fire at him or are you going to duck and run?
I'm definitely going to fire at him.
Okay, so roll plus force.
If he's shooting back at me. Oh my god, I completely wrongly put on the stats then.
No, I think you put the stats into where your moves need them to be.
Hey, Alan, would there be an opportunity as this is going on for Gema to use the Vanguard skill to seize control of the situation? Now that there's violence happening, the training kicks in.
Yeah, I think once we've had this exchange of fire, then Gema's training will kick in.
Okay.
Do you think, Sureshot?
I think Snake Eyes.
Oh my goodness me. Okay. So I am going to inflict stress on you. I'm going to inflict 2 stress on you for that, because both of them fire up the corridor at you. Stress is plot armor. Okay.
So how does my my shield generator factor.
Okay,
into it.
that will reduce that to 1. Yeah, so that is energy field, resist physical harm. You resist 1 of that, but you throw yourself into the way, you know, some kind of stress is applied.
Sure.
Yeah. And yeah, I think this is when, Gema, any training you want to apply kicks in. What do we see you doing?
All right. So I think narratively, this is the point where if people are in the way, or if Sara or others are there, she would literally like push them out of the way and interpose herself. And then I'm thinking on the seizing control, like seize control of the situation. And so that looks like it's a roll plus force.
It is.
So hopefully Sureshot got the snake eyes out of the way. And I think I am +2 on force. So here we go.
That's a 9, I think.
9. Okay.
So on a 10 plus, choose up to 2 tactics. On 7 to 9, choose 2 as for 10 plus, but someone involved will suffer. So which of those things do you want to do? You can do 2 of those things that are bullet pointed.
Okay, I want to suppress the threat.
Okay. And what does that look like?
I think that means she has her like combat rifle. I think she's just going to like physically just headshot him with just you know take the person out. That would be what I would like.
Okay.
So whether that's cause damage, harm, foe, or suppress threat, I'm not sure.
I think if you spray some fire down that corridor, you will suppress them, or you can shoot them.
I think I'm just going to shoot him.
Okay. Okay, cause damage. You do harm to the foes. I think that you will take 1 of them down with that. What do you want to do with your other tactic? Because you talked about moving people in or out, or
so either move people in or out. So that sounds to me like I would be getting the rest of them out of harm's way. Is kind of what that sounds like to me. And then blocking exit or entries, is that would that be preventing the others from hurting them, or because that's really her main goal, is like she's trained to be
bodyguard
in the way, right?
Yeah. I think that is move the others. So it buys Riley. Sara was already going around the corner, so I don't think Sarah's in trouble, but that gives Riley a chance to take cover. Yeah. Harper, do you want to take cover, or do you want to stay in the line of fire?
Well, it's wise to take cover after all.
Okay. So I'm imagining, Riley, do you go back towards the ship where Sarah's gone around the corner with the reception?
I think so, yeah.
And Harper, I think probably the nearest cover for you is that reception desk.
Perfect.
Yeah. So you take 1 of them down, Gema, and you buy time for the rest of the crew to, you know, get a bit of cover between them and it. But on a 7 to 9, someone involved will suffer. I can only see that as you.
Yep, that would be the goal.
Yeah, the other guy shoots up the corridor at you, and I think you will take 1 stress unless there's something to stop it. Oh, you got your carapace body armor.
Yep.
What does that look like when he shoots at you?
So I think she just takes it. It just takes it full on, and it knocks her back. But then maybe it puts her down to 1 knee. But then she, of course, kind of menacingly, is back up. Like, is that all you got, sort of thing?
Sara, let me come to you. You got round the corner, and then all hell breaks loose behind you. Let's call the receptionist Deo. Do you leave Deo where she is and go back, or do you carry on with a plan to take her to the ship?
I promised her I was going to take her to the ship. You know, like, gotta secure her. Like, look, you're going to be a lot safer in there than you will following me, because I got to get back, help my friends.
Anything you say. Anything you say. So you're off to the ship. Riley, you're in cover around the corner where Sarah's gone off behind you. What are you thinking right now?
So I don't really have any combat experience or training or skills. So I'm just like, well, I feel like I should help, but I don't really know what to do. And these guys with guns are scary.
I'm curious what your drones are doing.
So I had set my camera on a drone to see what was going on, and what was going on was some dudes with guns. So
And I think it probably kind of comes straight back to you.
yeah,
But is it still observing the scene?
yeah. I think if it's not going to do anything useful, it's going to take footage in case it looks cool.
And that allows you to be entirely in cover and still see what's going on.
Yep.
Okay, Gema, let me come to you because you're at the sharp end now. What's the next plan? Because the other guy is shooting wildly up the corridor as he backs off towards the convenience store. You are muted.
Good Lord. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. So basically what we're at is like sort of, there was the reception area, which kind of was a little bit wider, and then a corridor around the corner, the corridor down into the convenience store. And so I'm in that corridor.
You are.
So I think at this point, you know, she's all about suppressing threats and ending things. So she's going right at it, right? She's gonna return fire and just basically methodically right down the corridor towards the convenience store, taking out anything that looks threatening along the way.
So this sounds like picking off foes with precision.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
So roll with precision.
All right.
There's a logic in that.
There's +2 there. So
Ooh, just as well.
8.
8. So
Yeah.
on 10+, the GM describes the enemy's attacks, actions, describe how you defend yourself, how you put the hurt on, and how you take them out. Victory is yours. So that's on a 10+. On 7-9, the fight plays out as a 10+, but you'll get hurt and or cause collateral damage. Okay. Hang on, I just need to read that through. Describe how you put the hurt on. You've told me that. How you take them out. You've told me that. So victory is not yours because this isn't a 10+. Am I reading that right? What do you think?
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess when I first kind of skimmed through this, I thought of it as kind of a typical PBTA one where you kill the guy or you eliminate it, but then you take, like, a lot of PBTAs, like if you get a 10+, you're absolutely victorious. You take them out and you're unscathed. But then in that 7 to 9 range, you do that, but then you also get hurt. That was just but I'm with you on is victory yours or not?
The way it's written, 10+, you win de facto. 7-9, you trade damage.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
That's kind of, yeah.
It is oddly described, but there we go. So yeah, let's apply, because I think they squeeze off several, bang, 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 bang up the corridor at you as you're advancing, step fire, much more professional, I guess. So I would apply another point of stress to you, but I think your carapace armor is just pinging off there. You clearly they are outclassed here. And you take him down just as he gets to the convenience store door. And the collateral damage is that you just take out that glass partition between this corridor and the convenience store. So whoever's in the convenience store knows that something's coming. Yeah. Let me now go to Harper. Harper, what are you thinking?
Well, seeing that Gema did what they are good at, Harper stands out. I lean over the counter because I'm hoping that there is like a, internal communication, like microphones, speakers, or something, and that somewhere here is the mic on the counter, and then just go like grab the mic and then just like, excuse me, if I can have your attention, Space Marshal Sureshot has arrived on the station. Surrender, you scum. We will throw you back in your into your oh my God, what was it? Correctional facility. Otherwise, we are authorized to use force. I will count to
Okay.
3. Surrender now and drop your guns and lay on the floor.
I love it. This sounds like, I'm just trying to, I think this is face adversity when you speak truths and lies.
I thought you were going to reach over and grab cash out of the drawer when you did that.
So let's when you speak truth and lies. Roll plus influence, please, Harper.
I was thinking also about my prey when you deceive the trusting. No, it doesn't work. Yeah, sure.
I think depending on how this goes, you might alter the fiction to a place where they might trust you or they might believe you.
Okay. 4, and my influence is 1, so that's a middle result.
Okay, so what the move says is on 10 plus, you get one thing you wanted to achieve. I think that they don't immediately start firing down the corridor. I think they are distracted by, first of all, the glass just implodes into the, and you know, we can see stuff being blown off assorted shelves. And I think that they are distracted enough not to just start taking up firing positions to catch Gema in the corridor. Wanted to achieve and the GM fully enacts existing dangers or introduces new ones. But then Gema will need to be quick to stop them getting into those. You've bought Gema some time, but they are going to fire back at some point. Does that seem fair?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sarah, you've got Deo back to the ship. She doesn't want to stay there on her own.
Right, of course.
What do you stay with her? Do you lock her in?
Look, Deo, darling, my crew needs me, because if we don't stop them, they'll get you anyway. So if we lock you in here, you're much safer. Unless you want to follow me back. You hear the blasting, right?
I think let's just have a look.
There's
What am I working with here?
literally, I guess it's council.
I think it is. I think you need to convince her that she shouldn't be quite as convinced that you're a savior.
Right.
Because I want to know whether she's just going to be a clingy problem.
There we go. There's a 12. So.
Oh well, yeah. Oh yeah. No, anything you say. Is it? Did they call you Sarah?
That's right.
Oh, Sarah, you're great.
Thank you. You're too kind.
Are you famous or anything?
Well, look, we can talk later. All right.
Okay. You know, clearly about to say something else as the doors seal her in. And then what's your plan, Sarah?
I mean, I gotta head back and I guess get ready to provide cover and fire.
Well, we'll find out in a moment. So you're heading back. Riley, are you content where you are? You've got a view of what's going on. So up to you if and when you do something.
Can I see far enough with my drone into the convenience store?
I think that will require you to roll. I think that because it scurried back once the shooting started. You can send it down to try and do that. This sounds like you're trying to do this presumably without them noticing.
Now that it looks like the two guys in the hall are no more, I might creep forward a little bit more. But I'm still trying to stay far away from the actual action.
Okay. Are you trying to stay behind Harper? Because Gema's just marching up the corridor. How many?
I'm going to stay a
people do you want to
safe
shoot at?
distance behind Gema.
Okay. So where are we? I think probably that we are looking at you staying out of the line of fire. So it's roll with precision to avoid being a target. Does that seem fair?
Yeah.
What is your precision? Because I think
My
that
precision is 0.
so that is a 6. You are a target.
Yikes.
So Gema, I will come to you first to see what you want to do. You've eliminated the threats in the corridor. You have time to do something before the threats in the convenience store draw a bead on you lot.
So I'm still marching up the corridor.
Unless you choose something else. You know, you've made your way up there. You've taken out the 2 threats in the corridor. You've bought yourself some, or Harper has bought you some time to do something before they turn and fire on you from inside the shop.
I think she's going to push her advantage. And I think she's gonna head into the shop. Can she get into the shop? Can she just basically, you know, I think she's using more of like the shock type tactics, right? Like just you know, burst in and be violent. So
Demolish foes with violence.
that would be good.
Roll +4.
I think so. Yeah, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to keep all the focus on me to protect them. That would be my goal, and then just burst in and hopefully demolish foes with violence.
Okay.
So, all right. So hopefully keep up. That is with force. Okay. 7.
So on a 10 plus, the GM describes the enemy threat. Okay. On 7 to 9, the fight plays out as above, but you'll get hurt and or cause collateral damage. Okay. So then I think that you burst in. Describe what you do when you get in, because there are 3 guys in there.
Right. I think basically she's gonna, like, I sense I get a picture of something mildly like maybe tumbling, where you see people come in with some sort of agility like that, and then attempting to just come up and just start picking off, boom 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 like that. That's the attempt. But on so that would be is kind of maybe roll in, come up, and then bam 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 at the bad guy
as they are turning to respond to your initial successes. Then I think there are 3 of them, so you're going to take 3 harm, 3 stress. Your carapace will take down one of those. I think that probably they realize that they're outclassed, in terms of this turning into a firefight, so they rush you. But you take out one of them, so 2 of them are on you, beating on you. That's where that stress comes from.
Okay.
Sure shot. Riley was making their way up the, I think, Riley, you didn't get caught in that because Gema just closed too quickly. Sure shot. What are you going to do? Gema's in the convenience store, laying about her with the butt of her rifle, or their rifle, sorry.
It seems that the situation is over, or is there, or
There are 2 of them left. There are 2 of them beating on her. Them, sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, if they are focused on beating Gema, I'm going to sneak up to the corner, get my freezing pistol out, and freeze one of them with my freezing bolts.
Okay, when you sneak into an area, is that where we're at?
Probably prey, those vulnerable. I don't think there's any problem with sneaking toward the end of the corridor.
No, fair enough. What, you're looking to take their life, are you?
It's a freezing pistol.
Okay, take from the vulnerable. I think they are currently vulnerable.
Yes, they are occupied by beating on Gema. So
Roll plus precision.
that's a good teamwork. I'm sorry, because I'm rolling each time different dice. Do any of you claimed a particular color of the die for themselves? Okay, so I'll be just rerolling whatever. It's an 8.
Okay, so 10 plus, take something from them, their stuff, their life, their secrets. As on a 7 choose how you take something as a 10 plus. Is it messily, loudly, blatantly obvious, painfully and with difficulty, by making an enemy now or later, or tediously, slowly, meticulously? So you are going to take one of them out, but which of those bullet points is the consequence?
I wonder which one actually makes any sense in this situation.
I mean, painfully doesn't, I think, unless you want to tread on the glass.
Probably not. I think in some case, I think I'm going to pick the first one, bluntly obvious. If anyone finds a frozen dead guy, they will know that probably someone very high tech was here.
Well, can I just ask, because I think I want it to be messy as well. I want to know how this freeze pistol works.
Yeah, I think it's messy as well, because probably as they're fighting with Gema, one of their hands or maybe like torsos is like frozen, and it's like immediately frozen. And then when Gema like hits them, they're like shattered to like pieces.
I like that. I like that. Currently very neat pieces, but as defrosting begins to happen, that's going to get very messy indeed.
Yeah.
Fine. So Riley, no, Sarah, you've got to the corner. You can see stuff is happening down there in the convenience store. Riley is between you and the convenience store. Harper is at the door of the convenience store. Gema is inside laying about them. What do you want to do, Sarah?
Riley, what's the situation? What's going on?
I show you my data pad with the feed from the camera. Well, it looks like there's just one of them left, and I think Gemma could take them, but
All right. Hopefully we can solve this without any more violence. Hey, partner, you're definitely outnumbered and definitely surrounded, so you might want to just surrender.
I think I have to give them one more round with Gema before that kind of sinks in, and this may depend on what Gema does. Gema, you are fighting with one of them. One of them just kind of froze and exploded. What are you doing with the survivor?
So now that we're in that sort of close quarters thing, she has this ceramite flick blade. I'm not entirely sure what I visioned that as some sort of large combat type knife, and I think she would go into that mode with that to try to take the last person out.
Okay, I'm imagining a kind of Bowie knife that flicks out.
Something like
that.
that,
Can be tucked
yeah.
away out of sight somewhere, because it has the hidden characteristic. So yeah, engage with them up close and personal with that knife then.
Right.
Combat, I think, roll plus force.
All right.
I wasn't certain that they were going to wait for Sarah to calm the situation down.
Yeah, so that is a 9 plus 2, that's an 11.
The GM describes how the enemy attacks and their actions. So they're clubbing at you with the butt of their pistol, trying to pistol whip you, has no effect at all on the ceramite armor. It hasn't processed yet that if they just hit the shoulders of your armor, it doesn't hurt. And then how do you finish it?
Yeah, so I think she'd been in there with the rifle, and then the blade I think is down like in the boot type area, one of those sort of things. And I think all in one motion, it comes out and just like right up through the torso and ends them. So.
And that is just in time for another 5-minute break. perfect end of commercial break. So see you in 5. Okay, back for our final 40-50 minutes. There is, one entirely destroyed body, and a couple of other bodies in the convenience store. Lots of damage. A couple of bodies in the corridor. Riley, let me come to you first. What do you do in all this chaos?
So once the fighting's over, I'm gonna run into the convenience store and see like if there's anything we can do for the cashier if they're totally dead.
Okay. I think I want them to be hurt but not dead. I don't like just killing people. So what do you want to do? Treat them. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think that needs a move. I'm just wondering, does anybody have anything like a medical kit?
I don't think so.
No. Okay, so it's really just tearing a bit off his jumpsuit and just wrapping it around the wound in his arm or whatever it is, doing the best you can. Sarah, you've arrived in among all this chaos as well. What do you want to do?
I mean, I help Riley, I guess,
Offering those soothing words, that calming. I'm gonna learn the names of these planets. That calming Zandoran charming accent that is a well-known balm to
And,
all ills.
I guess are all the others dead?
Well,
Riley killed everyone basically. Riley and Sureshot.
I don't think Gema messes about.
Right.
I think when the training kicks in, there's only one outcome unless someone, steps in. That's the sense I'm getting at the moment, because it was like a switch was clicked there. Gema, what do we see of you after the fray? The rush, that the a lot of those automatic reactions, the kind of do this, do that, do this, do that. It's done. What do we see in the aftermath?
Yeah, so I think immediately after, there's sort of this moment where there's the sort of securing of the location, right? So just she does that thing, but then I do think you can kind of see it melt off of her a little bit, and she goes to that sort of, I think she goes a little bit to that faraway place, right? That because there's some things about this that are starting to solidify in my head, the reason for the abandonment and stuff. So she does kind of have that sort of like that goes a little bit to that faraway place. So
Harper, what about you? What are you doing in the aftermath?
I think that Harper is battling between either securing our free fuel or making sure that there are no more bodies on this system ship. So actually going quietly, he would like to go to the place where the other ship is docked and make sure that there are no more hostiles either on the ship or just getting onto the station, so that we know that the situation is under control right now.
Do you want to check the motel? Because that's on the station. The station is a convenience store, a fuel hub, and a motel.
Yeah, I don't know. I envision that probably not, because then I would probably need to go room by room.
No, I'll take you straight to the ships.
I mean, yeah. I don't think I'm going room by room for the hotel. At least that's how I envision hotel. So I don't suppose I go room by room, because there can be other people. So I'm mostly suspecting that they came with this system ship. So that's what I want to do.
Okay.
To double check.
So you're avoiding the Narsun freighter, and instead you're heading towards this in-system transport, which is as secure as your ship is, in as much as they don't leave the docking access open. So what do we see you doing?
I'm really curious if I want to like get on the ship or not. We don't really know what happened actually even. You know, let's pull up their their ship console, and let's double check the ship's console that is there still someone on board, or just like open a door and check myself. It depends what information will be on the ship's console.
So you're trying to hack the ship from outside.
Yes.
Have you got anything like a data tool or anything in your assets that would allow me to give you advantage to do that? Okay, so let's have you roll 2d6 plus this is hack into a system. 2d6 plus mind.
That's an 8.
Okay, 10 plus, take something from them, their stuff. So their secrets. What secret do you want to know? Sounded like you want to know if there was anybody else on board, but I don't want to push you that way.
That's one thing. Are there like how many of them came by the ship, and I don't know their affiliation.
Well,
are they?
You get something, not some things. So I can tell you either something about their affiliation, or I can tell you whether there's anybody else on that ship. What do you want to know most?
I think I'm interested in follow-up of the story. So, like, who are they actually?
Okay. The ship is registered to somebody called Jang Yu Roberts. And you'll need to do more to find out their affiliations, but it's not like it says, you know, this is an undercover authority ship or something like that. But the owner of this ship, or the most recent registered owner, is Jang Yu Roberts.
Okay. Can you like put them into the NPCs or something?
By all means. By all means.
I don't know how to write their name.
Okay.
I know how to write the last part, Robert.
I'll add them later on.
Cool, thank you.
On a 7 to 9, choose how you take something. So which of those 4 options is how this goes on?
So from the prey move, yes?
From the prey, yeah.
I think by making the enemy, maybe this person didn't want anyone to know that their identity have been uncovered.
Fine. I will add Jang Yu Roberts as an enemy for Harper after the end of the session.
Yeah. So probably what we see is like I'm just there pressing on the console, and we see that there's like a camera that just like records me as I'm doing it. Interesting. Johnny Roberts, yeah, I will remember you.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. So the clerk, the guy on the counter in the convenience store, as Gema is just kind of away from the action, just, you know, staring into space at this point. So Riley or Sarah, they're coming round, they're stopping panicking, but do you want to do anything? Do you want to say anything, Sarah?
I'm sorry, I was looking through the moves for playtesting notes. So
I'm just curious whether you want to do anything other than help the clerk of the convenience store.
I mean, if there's like people that are like scared and worried, you know, I'll talk to them. You know.
He's the only person there, and he's coming down. What about you, Riley? Anything specific you're after here, or once the guy stops bleeding, job done?
Yeah, I think once I'm satisfied that they're not in immediate danger, I'm just gonna take a look around.
I think he'll ask where Deo is.
Yo, is that? I don't know who that is.
She's safe back on our ship.
Oh, she's okay.
Yeah.
Thank God. Thank God. What about the guests?
We haven't checked.
And it's clear that he feels it is, as the manager of the convenience store, he feels it is his duty to go and check the motel, but it's clear that he doesn't want to. So Riley or Sarah, will one of you step into that gap?
Yeah, sure.
Sarah she has the confidence that only large amounts of money can buy.
Yeah.
So Sarah, Riley, do you go with Sarah?
Sure. Yeah.
I'm going to leave Gema just, meditating for a moment, because I just want to see these two operate on their own for a bit. So, so Sarah, behind the desk, the reception desk you first came to, there's a door, and then a spiral staircase that goes up to a series of stacked rooms, landing room, landing room, landing room. So what do we see you doing, Sarah?
I mean, I'm just going to knock on doors, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. First floor, no answer.
Yeah.
Second floor, we have different floors, but you know what I mean. The first
Yeah.
landing, the next landing, knock, knock. I think I want you, Sarah, to see whether you can hear anything going on in there. I don't think you have anything special here. So I think this is seek an opportunity by
Observe discreetly.
observe discreetly.
Or socialize and listen. I don't,
Oh, let's have socialize and listen. Oh no, influence really doesn't work, does it?
I'm
Precision,
just,
I think.
yeah, I'm just reading, like, it's either one of these two. So
Yeah, I think observe discreetly, without kicking a door in.
there's a 7 plus precision is 0. So
That's not
7.
right. So 7. So you are you can hear snoring
Okay.
beyond that door. Yeah, that's what you find. And find what you seek as 10 plus. But the GM, this is odd, the way this is
Yeah,
structured.
the list should be below the 7 and 9.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling.
I created a play testing notes tab for a lot of my notes.
Thank you. We may tinker with that. I mean, I'm loath to do it. Interestingly, the chat that you're writing in also saves.
Okay.
So yeah.
I gotta choose one of these, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, you choose. I got a 7. I don't have to worry. Oh wait.
Yeah, but also chooses one from the list. So you tell me what the problem is, and I choose.
No, you find what you seek. So I get what I was trying to do because I rolled a success.
Oh,
but you
right.
choose.
Yeah,
10 plus the player chooses.
Yeah. Okay. So I choose one from the list. I think that yeah, I'm going to introduce a potential challenge, like in the form of guardian or defense. The door of the landing above you opens, and you hear someone moving about on the landing coming down towards you. What do you do?
Hello, are you all right up there?
Riley, what about you? That's what Sarah's doing. Do you do anything else?
Not for now. I'm just gonna be ready to.
Okay. Are we back at council, Sarah?
I don't know. I mean, how do they respond? That's
Yeah, fair enough. I think you hear a gun cocked.
oh, that's not good. Hey, we took care of everything down here. Things are safe. There's no need to panic.
Okay, Riley, you're on the landing, kind of below them. Sarah is just slightly to one side by the door.
I'm gonna try and sort of start like sidling us out from right under this person.
Because they are going to shoot at you. You won't take me alive, bitch, shouts a woman, and fires down the stairwell. Let's have you, Riley, do what you were doing, perhaps with a little bit more alacrity.
Yeah, I'm just gonna try and like jump out of the way, which might result in awkwardly rolling down the stairwell.
For instance. So I think this is face adversity with agility.
All right.
Yeah?
Yeah. All right. My precision
Roll with
is
precision.
oof.
Did the 1 move, or did I just see the 6 move?
I think I rolled 2, but I can try again.
Well, it just says you rolled 6.
Oh,
It
yeah.
doesn't add them up, so.
Oh, yeah. My attempt to select 2 dice was not successful. Hang on.
I'll take the 6, and I'll take the second 6.
Yeah. Sorry. Something got complicated.
Don't worry. Don't worry. So that is a 12. So, show me how impressively Riley puts some space between you and them, because you are going to do that thing.
Okay. So I think I end up sort of like shoulder rolling down the edge of the stairs and then using the, since I was sort of swinging around space stations before I could walk, I just sort of like swing around the next level of the stairs.
So there's some more between you and them, leaving Sarah on the landing. So Sarah, Riley does this as shots kind of pepper the ground, the landing where Riley was standing. What do you do, Sarah?
Ah, for Christ's sake. We didn't even know you could have just acted like you were a guest. You would have been fine.
You can hear them coming down so as to be able to come round that turn in the stairway and draw a bead on you, Sarah.
I mean, she's got her pistol out, so.
Gema, let me have you roll to see whether you hear gunfire. I don't know if you have anything special. Otherwise, it's just roll with. I think this is observed discreetly because you're not trying. So I think it's roll with precision to see whether you can hear anything, or whether it's too buffered up that corridor and you're in your different mental place. You're in your safe place.
All right, let's see. So with precision, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what we got here.
No, still in your safe space.
Nope.
Let's Harper. Can you also roll with precision to see whether you hear gunshots from back down from the docking hub towards the motel?
I got 7 + 2. That's a 9.
That's a 9. Okay, you do hear something, but I'm just wondering, what's your burden?
Feeling
No,
superior to everyone.
I'm inclined to have you act on your burden. How would your sense of innate superiority lead you to act?
I have no idea in this case.
I think you charge in there without thinking, because you can handle anything, sure shot.
Yeah, I was thinking that instead of grabbing Gema and saying, "Come on, let's go," he's just like, "I got this," and heads
Into the
out.
motel, just blind.
Sure.
Yeah.
Can I try to counsel her first?
Say again? Oh, you can try in a moment. I just want to make sure that if your burden does make you do stupid things, relatively speaking, there is a tick under the XP triggers.
So we have to intentionally, not like, so we have to very directly do stupid things connected to our burden.
Well, what it says is, I carried my burden for good or ill.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it has to have some narrative meat.
Okay.
Simply being superior is not going to mark it.
Sure.
Yeah. More than just RP. So Sarah, you said you're going to try and talk them down, yeah?
Yeah, like, look, if you're with them, they're all dead. And do you really want to be taken dead? Because being alive is a lot better than being dead.
Go
So
ahead.
you're going to shoot through our entire crew? You got to think this through better.
Let's have you change their behavior.
Was this mind
Roll.
or influence?
I think this is
They're
I
the
think
same
in-
stat. It doesn't matter.
mind. It is then.
Yeah. Eight.
8 on 10 plus instill them. Okay, on 79, choose the payment. So they will calm down, but which of those bullet points is true?
It hurts them. Their pride is wounded.
They feel stupid reacting like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
As this woman kind of looks around the corner, gun at her side. Let's have Harper burst into this then. So Harper, you charge up the stairs past Riley, who's sheltering, and there's a woman with a gun on the upper landing. What does your superiority lead you to do?
I shout loudly, Space Marshal Sureshot, and open fire at her.
Let's do that thing. Let's have you face adversity with that's violence. So roll with force, please, Sureshot.
That's a 6.
Oh my. Things go sideways painfully. The GM describes how the situation plays out. She thinks that you've conned her, Sarah, and she shoots at you. Would you take 2 stress? Armor would count. Anything? I don't think you're the kind of character who has a carapace armor.
She's got mesh weave, layering body armor.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
I
So
don't-
you just take 1 stress. Nobody knows what mesh weave armor is unless you played a lot of Traveller in the 1980s. She shoots at you. Your influence on her gets broken in that sense, and she retreats to the upper landing as Harper kind of hits some of the stanchions, which are now fragile. Riley, what do you do?
If I notice this stanchion situation, I want to try and understand that and either stabilize it or like get all of us to flee.
I think that's a very sensible thing to do when you analyze a
I think
tech
I'm
or
judging
structures.
texture structures. Yeah.
Yeah, roll plus hardware. Oh,
Ooh.
it's already cracked. You can hear the hiss, because that's what you were worried about, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can hear the hiss of atmosphere escaping from the structure of the station. Gema, I'm going to have you snap out of it now, because if there's one thing you are attuned to, it is the hiss of escaping atmosphere. Sarah, Harper, you're on the staircase. This woman has retreated upstairs, further up into the to the upper floor, and is still armed and dangerous. Sarah?
Gee, thanks, Sure Shot.
Arrived as soon as I heard that there's problem.
You're a cotton picking moron.
What are you saying?
You're dumber than a bag of rocks. She didn't even have her gun out.
She had the gun pointing at
At
you.
her side.
I interrupt this bickering, like, Sarah, Harper, get your asses back to the ship. The station's about to go.
Okay. Why? How?
I will remind you that you heard snoring from one of the other rooms, Sarah, the room that you're at.
Right. Yeah, I gotta get them.
So, Riley, you are nearest to the exit from the motel and access to the ship. Are you leaving?
I'm going to wait until my crew is out.
Oh, wow. What about Harper? Do you stay or do you go?
Well, my awesomeness cannot do anything about the station becoming depressurized. So I'll make sure the way is clear, and I run down the stairs.
Where you'll encounter Gema arriving at the bottom of the stairs, having heard the hiss of escaping atmosphere from this part of the station. Gema, what do you do?
Yeah, so I think when I heard the hiss, knowing what that is, I also grabbed the convenience store guy. I don't know if we named that person, but I'm not going to leave him or her or whatever, or them there. I grabbed them to go as well. So, and I think when we get to that sort of like, it sounds like there's sort of like where all this stuff meets, like right where that motel lobby is. I think she's going to start head counting, right? Like, where is everybody, right? To get people pushed towards the ship.
Everybody's there but Sarah.
And so I think
Cut to Sarah.
Where's Sarah?
Cut to Sarah. Sarah, what do you do? The door didn't open when you knocked, and you can hear snoring inside.
I'm gonna try and override the door.
I don't see why you shouldn't try to do that. So I think that this is face adversity using machinery, I think, or interface or experiment, mind or hardware, I think is fair.
Mind or hardware. I think I'll go with mind.
I think
I get a
working
better
out,
bonus.
yeah, that's fine by me. So 2d6 plus 2, I think.
Yep.
Oh, you've locked it. You've hit the secure kind of, this cannot be unlocked without some kind of override, some kind of official override, Sarah.
Well,
and I'm guessing that's the point at which Gema is running upstairs to find Sarah. Riley, you're in that kind of central hub. The ship's this way. The convenience store clerk is there. Harper is there saying, "Don't worry, this is the way out," or words to that effect. Do you stay or do you go, Riley? Oh, you are muted.
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna see if I can go help get everyone evacuated from here.
Okay. Sure shot. That leaves you and the convenience clerk in motel reception. What do you do? He's saying, and then of course, as the atmosphere pressure loss sensors go off. Oh shit! Quick! We're gonna get to that. Get to the escape pods.
I'm really thinking. I want to just stay here, just one moment, and I want to like use the computer at the reception to see if they do have some kind of security doors to prevent, and I want to like engage them and somehow lock out this like section which was damaged. Maybe we can salvage the station somehow.
Okay. Let's have you use your. I think this is hack into a system, isn't it?
It is, but the options there are quite limited. So I'm not sure if we can use any of these options. I was thinking set up an action.
I mean, choose which. So eliminate security, open doors. I'm very happy to flip that round to close the door. So you could either close the pressure doors that would seal off the motel rooms, or you could open all the motel room doors.
Cool. Yeah, let's do that. I see I have a lot of snake eyes on this session. Let's roll the dice.
Oh, thank God for that.
So I got 9.
9. So on 10 plus, choose which opportunity you seize. On 7, 9, you're in and undetected. The GM decides which opportunity you could seize if you want. Other actions have to be attempted separately. Okay, so I think that you realize that if you bring the pressure doors between reception and the rooms, you're going to trap 3 of the crew inside. So you can't seal off the motel rooms, but you could open all the motel room doors and broadcast a message that says something like, this section of the station is about to be sealed for atmospheric safety. this section of the station is about to be sealed for atmospheric safety.
Yeah, I do it.
Yeah, because that at least
system with limitations. We should upgrade to the new version. Yeah.
So that is to allow everyone to evacuate. So Sarah, the door kind of goes click and flips open. What do you do?
Get to sleep and hopefully they're waking up. And
Yeah,
get them out of here. Or to an escape pod.
He's a powerfully built individual. Gema, is there any physical sign, you know, I don't know, tattoos, insignia, anything that would identify someone who's from the order?
Yeah, so I think there's a couple different things, but I think I'd seen a picture online, but like where there's some like tattoo markings or something along the face or whatever. So
this guy has Narsen markings on his cheek. You don't know what they mean. Gema might do, but he is clearly the pilot of that Narsen freighter.
Okay. Well,
what's happening?
The ship's depressurizing, or at the station.
And he immediately barges past you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Charges down the stairs. Gema, you're coming in at the bottom of the stairs just as he's coming down the stairs. What do?
I think Gema is very focused on finding Sara, but it does not. I think she stops briefly because she can see the markings and I think maybe they make brief eye contact, but then there's, you know, anybody who I think everybody who's in space knows you don't screw around when the depressurization alarms go, right? So there's sort of this moment of recognition, just not personal recognition, but just I know who you are. But then she scoots on up to grab Sara.
And he knows.
And there's also still another person shooting up there or something, right?
There's somebody else upstairs. Yeah. He knows what you are, even if he doesn't recognize who you are. Yeah.
Yes.
But his mission is about that freighter, and so he goes past Harper, goes past Riley, heads towards the docking hub where he can get aboard his ship. So yeah, there is that other person who was shooting at Sara and Riley upstairs. What are you going to do, Gema? Because you can see a shadow up there if someone isn't sure what to do.
So I think so she gets up there and kind of is like he's yelling at Sara to get to the ship, and I think my thought process, and I think this kind of comes down to the expanse of the other things is that you don't abate, like when the thing is depressurizing, that takes priority over everything else, right? And so there's so she's like, I think she just looks up there and says, if you want to live, come with us.
Okay, so that sounds like you are trying to I think this is socialize and listen closer than anything else.
If that's an influence-based thing, I'm not going to be very persuasive.
I can't. I think it's influence come what may. I'm not entirely certain which move it is. Oh, when you speak truth, it could be face adversity with influence. Yeah.
All right, so I'm -1 at that. Unless, hang on a second. Could this be could I use the forcefully seize control piece, like the Vanguard move of forcefully seize control?
Suppress a threat for now.
And
then
move
carry them
people,
out.
Yeah, move people in and out or whatever.
Yeah. I think that works.
Okay, so then I can use force instead of try to convince people. I think she's more in a just pick people up and take them out of there sort of mode versus.
Yeah, roll a dice, let's see how it goes, and then we'll describe the action. Oof.
Oof, indeed.
Is that an 8?
That is an 8, yeah.
So 79, choose 2, but someone involved will suffer. You hurt them, I think, is what I'm seeing. They are the potential sacrificial pawn here. You put them down because I think the pistol comes up in panic, and there's a kind of just push it to one side, bop them in the face with a rifle, and so they are hurt, but you can suppress the threat for now and just carry them out.
Yep, that works.
Harper, do you want to try again to seal that unit, or do you just want to get out? I will just give you an indication of what's at stake here, folks. If this station really goes down, then that gate will go offline. Oh, you are muted, Pavel.
I suppose knowing the stakes, it's probably worth a try to secure it.
Okay.
So yeah, trying to invoke override admin access / tilde, and yeah.
Okay, let's have you hack the system, roll plus mind. And what does that look like? I'm curious what do we see on screen as you're doing this, Harper?
Do we want to say it's a touch screen, or is it like a keyboard and a screen?
What would you like it to be?
I think it's a touch screen, and we see Harper using various weird motions that normal people don't use. Like he grabs the centers, like rotate them, and suddenly a new window pops up for like password, and he like flips it around to like, and then like inputs the password on the other side of this page. So it's like kind of like between VR and like manipulating the touch screen with gestures that normal users will never get to even consider. Like, why do you like do this? So I think I got 6 + 2 = 8.
8. So 7, you're in an undetected. You can seize the opportunity to seal off the motel rooms, so you can stop the entire station going down. That's all it is, isn't it? You're in and undetected. The GM decides which opportunity you should seize. You could seize. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You can seal that off, so the station will not kind of cease functioning. In fact, you'll be able to leave Deo and the clerk, the manager, if you wanted to.
Yeah, so I suppose I wait till I see Gema carrying this like unconscious person out. I probably like take a look that there's probably like some screen like people still in the side, like maybe they have like somehow the sensors to know that people are out, and then they just press and we see this like door like
Fine. I'm inclined to say that that's probably where we're going to get to roll credits. I think Deo and the manager are safe, so you can leave them on the station, unless you're very keen for Deo to become a fan, Sarah, and kind of just follow you around.
That's all right.
But we almost certainly will see her saying, can I contact you again?
Sure. Yeah. No. I mean, look, we're the crew of this ship. We do a lot of work.
I like
If
it.
you need anything transported, we can help.
I think the manager is going to let you refuel for nothing. That seems the least he can do, as he puts a call into the authority to come and sort out what's happened here. Gema, you will see the Narsen ship, undocking and then heading for the ring. It's unclear where they're heading, but they now know that one of their number is here and they are confused. How did they know that you were not here officially?
Yeah, I think that I don't think that they're a very structured, sort of rigid sort of society. So like there would be like a record, right? Like they essentially know where everybody is, so to speak. Like these people are on this mission, these people are here, or whatever. And so I do think that once I'm assuming their first priority would be to undock, assuming that if the whole station imploded, they wouldn't want to be docked to it. And but then I'm assuming they're going to be like, there'd be some sort of checks that they would run and figure out that there shouldn't have been somebody there, or why was there somebody there?
How do they refer to you? Are you a heretic? Are you a runaway?
I guess I'm kind of more in line of AWOL than anything else. So
Okay.
I'm lost. How about that?
Okay. So there's we'll cut to him just as he goes through the gate, just signaling to Narsen Central around. Have we got anyone in this system on this ship at this time? Because I just saw somebody and I wasn't expecting to. And there I think we'll fade to black. Let's do that end of session XP. Let's just check in. We know, I think, that Sureshot carried his burden of being overly superior in a circumstance where maybe he shouldn't have been.
So do I just like mark the checkboxes, or do we unmark and mark experience?
If I can run through the checkboxes first, I'll tell you what to do with them in a minute.
Sure.
I'm not certain, did we get any kind of relationship to burden for Riley?
No, it didn't come up at all.
Okay. Gema, I think that the fact that you encountered and they now know something about you means that your burden has influenced our fiction there. I dedicated patron of the arts, don't know. Struggling, no. You're going to have to help me get that in the story, unless you want to select a different one, because I'm just wondering how to do that. Let's go to the other ones. I've just realized I've misspelled defeat. So I think Sureshot, you did suffer a loss, defeat, or setback, because I think you went in there as the gunslinger, and that was not how it turned out.
Yeah. I was shot at first, and then I somehow caused the station to become depressurized. So
yeah, it's been a busy day for Sureshot.
Definitely.
Loss, defeat, or setback, Riley? For Riley?
Not that I know of.
No, I think that went pretty well from Riley's point of view. Gema, loss, defeat, or setback? They were like a machine.
No, yeah, I think, yeah.
I think that I am going to say that Sara suffered a loss, defeat, or setback because that last scene or so really did not go to plan one way and another. For all Sarah's best efforts, she ended up in the firing line. Go back round, claimed a victory for myself and the ship. I think that Sureshot did. I secured
the portion of the station from being depressurized.
You did. I think, Riley, that you claimed a victory for myself and the ship simply by having a better idea what you were going into at the start of this, using the sensors. So I think you get that one. Gema, certainly a victory. You know, you took down those thugs like they were just made out of paper. And I think that the way you worked with Deo, Sara, also means I think you could legitimately have claimed a victory there. I champion Isle and let them shine. I don't think that Sureshot set anyone up.
I'm sorry, am I saying it right? Gema.
I have to say I'm wobbling about. I think that Joe
Hard
is happy
G.
for us to go in. He wants a hard G if we can remember it. I'm trying.
Gema. I think
Gema.
I set Gema up for charging when they were confused. Who the hell is Space Marshal Sureshot when I was speaking to the
Yeah,
the
that's
radio?
fair enough. That's fair enough. I'll give you that one. I champion I'll let them shine. I don't know. Riley, I'm just trying to think.
Yeah, not that I know of.
I'm struggling a bit. Nothing comes immediately to mind. Worth flagging these as we go along, perhaps, with hindsight. What about Gema? Champion an ally and let them shine?
I don't think so. I think she kind of did her machine show there, and that was about it. So
What about Sarah? Champion and ally, let them
I would
shine.
like to go one back. I think Gema kind of helped me because when they were occupied with these two guys, I had like a free shot at one of them and could like show off my cool freezing gun.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair. So Gema championed. So so that's the total number of EP, right? XP. So now fill in Harper's case, you know, the first 4 boxes on the first times 1 column. Because advancement in this game gets harder the more improvements you make. So that's why I'm not sure you'll ever need multiple 50s, but I've put them in there just in case. So, and then 3 for Gema, 2 for Sarah, and clear the flags for next time. Because we will start next time with a bit of downtime. Yeah. So that's end of session. A quick stars and wishes if you've got 5 minutes, folks. I'm going to stop the recording as I'll explain in a moment, though.